Good morning. I'm here with Morgan. Excuse me. She's in for Charlie today. We're a little tongue-tied planning what we're going to talk about, but it sounds like we have a couple calls on the line, Morgan. Okay. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. Caller, go ahead. You're on the line.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I've been living in this low-income housing authority for 3 years in this apartment. And on the 4th of this month, my garbage disposal got clogged up. I had put some broccoli down it. Well, they couldn't get it unclogged, so they called the plumber to come in. And then yesterday I get the bill for the plumber. And now this is the first time that this has ever happened in the 3 years that I've been here. Now, the plumber told me before he left that the pipes were old and rusted. But the apartment complex sends me the bill. Also, I had my blind to my window taken out because it was stripped and I couldn't open it. And she informed me that I would have to pay for that too, that repair. Is that legal?
Well, honestly, it probably somewhat depends upon what your lease agreement is with the apartment complex. I would think normally that the plumbing problem would be something that the apartment complex would be responsible for. However, you probably need to take your lease agreement that you signed, take a look at that very carefully and see if there's something in there regarding those issues that you've had come up. A good suggestion would be, you know, to have an attorney take a look at the lease agreement to see exactly what's contained in there to make sure who should be responsible for those things.
Okay, thank you, Morgan. And producers, do we have another call on the line? We do. Okay, caller, go ahead. You're on the line with Morgan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Go ahead.
I purchased a car for a very large amount of money, and when it started raining this spring, it started leaking severely inside, and I took the car back to the dealership, and they said they're not responsible because I bought the car as is. Is there anything I can do?
Well, that's something you should definitely, I think you want to take that to an attorney, see exactly what you signed. Again, a lot of this is like contracts, so what you signed with the car dealership that you bought it for, whether it has the language that you've purchased it as is, you probably really need to have an attorney really look carefully at what the contract was to see if you can have any legal remedy, any way that you could sue them, or any relief that you could possibly get.
Okay, good. Thank you so much, Morgan. And something you and I were chatting about, doesn't sound like we have any additional calls at this point, but you primarily deal with family law. And something you've run into quite a bit recently is the issue of, in a situation of divorce, parents leaving the state and how custody works across state lines. Could you briefly kind of talk about what parents might expect?
You know, I have a lot of people that call me often that, you know, after people have divorced and they have custody agreements, sometimes they will have issues come up where one party wants to leave the state, and that can be a really big deal. And there's a lot of factors the court considers when they're looking at that, what the reason for the move is, you know, what kind of family contacts would be, for instance, in the Wichita area. And then, you know, there's a lot of issues that come up sometimes when people are crossing state lines and custody issues that are involved in that. And it can get very complicated. So whenever somebody has an issue like that, it's always a really good idea to get an attorney to take a look at it.
Okay. Well, we really appreciate your time this morning, and thanks for the heads up to those of us. And she may be back next week, or maybe Charlie, so stay tuned. And of course, you can always call next week. We're going to take a short break on Eyewitness News, but we'll be right back.